This is not meant for the boys. This is meant for when the man grows up. The beauty of this camera is it's very unintrusive. This is something that you go out with, follow your dreams, take those pictures which you always have actually dreamt of. It's the most delightful equipment for beautiful street life. Hi, this is Jatin Kampani, and I'm most privileged and happy to be a part of the Fujifilm Ambassador program. My genre of photography is very different. I was almost surprised when Fujifilm approached me to get my hands on the RF, and it was a pleasant surprise because I said this is something that I've never done before, and it'll be interesting to capture life. And this was the perfect, maybe 30 years of my work. I mean, I think this is what I was waiting for, where I go and shoot streets in the way that I'd like to shoot it. Most of the images that I have shot actually are at waist level. Just by the tilt of the screen, you almost make the camera so invisible to people because, it's unintimidating. Just flip the open and people don't even know that a picture is being shot, and it keeps it very private at the same time. You end up getting some really beautiful images which people aren't even aware of, so you capture life so much more in reality as opposed to somebody being conscious when in front of you. So apart from conventional equipment that I've been using for a very long time, which is the EVF being right in the center, and this was a welcoming change because I think this is truly personal, basically, where you can see your normal eye vision, which is close to about 48, and your 28 mm off conversion to a large format together in one frame, with both your eyes open. And I think that's something that makes it so interesting because you are not only seeing the compositions through the frame through a 28, and in this case 35, and you're also actually managing to see the life and try to capture the best of both. And this is what the change of the EVF actually allows you to do. The most amazing things that I noticed while I was shooting the streets was the aspect ratio that this camera gives you. Just the click of a dial and it gives you perspectives which are unimaginable, because your compositions, sometimes you feel that the amount of information in your frame is so beautiful in a landscape mode that you don't want to compromise on where you're standing and still be able to cover edge to edge in a panoramic format, and it's just at a click of a dial you get that, whilst you're still in a very busy street and you find a very interesting character, which I think as a square format really works beautiful, without moving from where you are. You don't lose a moment, and that's what's beautiful about the aspect ratios that they've given. That sort of thought process in design for Fujifilm to think about, I think is phenomenal for photographers like us. They've given a fixed lens and it's 100 megapixel. You move through the streets where people hardly even notice the camera because it's so small, it's so compact, it's so lightweight. It's almost existing and not existing at the same time. We've seen from edge to edge, and there's absolutely no dispersion. It captures on great focal length, it gives you absolutely tack-sharp images, and that's what one is looking for, especially when they're doing fine art exhibit prints. I think of blowing these images to about 4 feet and 6 feet size prints, and that's when you'll see the beauty of what this camera can provide. Fuji has chosen a conceptual fashion photographer to experiment this camera with, and there is no better way to express this that why did Fujifilm think of somebody like me who's a conceptual photographer to go and shoot streets? I mean, this itself is an experiment, right? And the whole purpose of this camera is for photographers to get inspired to experiment and come up with absolutely beautiful, different looking stuff. When you see these images, you'll know that I'm very pleasantly surprised in what this camera has given me and inspired me to do, because right from a concept stage to what I wanted to express and what I have produced, as a form of a result, to shooting this in the studio and coming out with images which I feel are my genre as well. I think that marriage and that experiment has totally worked. I think more photographers should go out and try this piece of equipment because this is going to definitely inspire to do something different. Old school photographers always chose their film on the basis of the subject that they were capturing. But I think this is something that the whole range of Fujifilm of different simulations is something they've packed it in the camera, especially for newer photographers who only worked on digital as such. For them to be able to pre-visualize, like Velvia's had always given you such fantastic colors and saturations and the blue skies, and especially the camera comes with a 4-stop ND filter within it. And imagine if you have your film simulations in Velvia, I mean, your skies are going to look just out of the world, right? Which I see very limited equipment giving you that when you're shooting it. And my story was in black and white, so when I wanted to visualize, you know, a few black and whites, you go onto the black and white mode and you see your simulation and you get to know your pictures and your grayscale right there. I think the simulation helps a lot. So one of the finest things that this camera gives you is the leaf shutter. You have the opportunity of playing with your ISOs and keeping your shutter speeds to whatever limit, where you don't lose a single ray of light. I mean, you've captured it all there in any kind of shutter speed that you're really looking for, as opposed to being limited with you know, with a lot of other GFX cameras which I've also seen they're not leaf shutters. So I mean, I think it's a plus on everything in terms of what Fuji's thought of. It's power packed. It's truly a missile of a camera. You just got to shoot.